Hi guys, welcome back to LPB Racing for the IndyCar series on Project Cars 2. We are here for race 2 at Circuit of the Americas. 21 laps ahead of us. Bidzster is on pole yet again. Then it is Neil alongside him from Callum, Stevie, Gummy Bear, Blakeney, Keith, Will and then TY. So let's get on with the race then guys. Rolling start, bit close and Constantine up on the right hand side of the grid. But we're getting ready for the start. There's Bidzster's car with the lights to go out, and we're off. Good start by everyone. Bidzster's got a bit of a lead going down to the first corner, bit sort of concertinaed together in the middle. Let's look at Neil Farmack's car as we go into the first corner. Will goes for the inside, oh bang, contact there, and then Gummy Bear goes through. Neil goes down the hill side by side with Will, and there's Gummy Bear, there's Blakeney. Oh, Blakeney gets hit by Will, oh round he goes and just avoids the rest of the pack. But then they come to blows and Blakeney, rejoins and Will waits for him, but we'll get a replay on that later on after the first lap. But everyone else through well. Neil Farmack in 4th position there, with Callum back down in 5th. And Stevie pressuring Bidzster then. So Bidzster's got a bit of a lead here. So there he is Bidzster in the lead. Only done probably just under half a lap already, and Bidzster in the lead from Stevie, Gummy Bear, Neil Farmack, Callum. And then we've got Keith back here with TY right on his tail as well when the camera gets to us. There we are. There's Keith in the yellow car, and then we've got TY closing up in the white and green car. As we go down to the next one, Keith defends well. TY can't quite get away through here. But TY in the Dale Coyne Racing car, and Keith teammates with Blakeney and Andretti Autosport, and Blakeney further back down the field, back in 8th place because of that contact with Will on the first lap. There's Keith. Oh, Keith goes in a bit deep. TY might be able to get a good run here, but Keith's got the inside for the next corner. So Keith will keep the inside around this long right-hander and goes wide off the track. TY goes straight through. So Keith just tries to rely on the front tyre too much there. And also, just so you know guys, it's the same rules in this race than what it was in the last one with pit stops. You've got to use the alternate tyre first, then the primary. So we'll just get a replay on that first lap action for you now. Here's the replay of the start on board with Will. So let's see what happened between him and the other cars as we go into the first corner. A bit of trying to squeeze through some gaps there, trying to squeeze up the inside of Neil there, bit of contact there, all concertinaed together, but everyone looking to get through that spin. Down the hill now, Blakeney, watch Blakeney on the left. We understeer into Blakeney, nothing we can do. Blakeney spins and holds it just about, and Will stops offline and lets Blakeney rejoin. Very gentlemanly like there, and we rejoin the race. As we come back from that then, so Stevie closing down on Bidzster now. So Stevie's actually got some pace in this car now. He's closing down Bidzster's gap. He's closed it down by a good half a second so far. And meanwhile, a bit further up, we've got Callum, who's ahead of Neil then, in 4th place now. Neil right behind him, so Callum, Bidzster's teammate in this one, the AJ4 Enterprises car, passes Neil Farmack's car, which is the KV SH Racing. He's an independent Neil this season so far, unless we get him a teammate, but looks like he might be independent for this season. As we go down to the next corner then, Callum ahead of Neil as we go with Stevie and Bidzster on the straight then. Bidzster pulling out a bit of a gap here, 1.3 seconds. So Stevie must have made a little mistake somewhere. Either that or Bidzster's got on with the job, but I think more than likely Stevie made a little mistake. As we're all a bit more spread out now, but again, anything can happen in motorsport. All it takes is one mistake to close the whole field up. We've got Callum there with Neil Farmack only 6/10 behind him, so Neil's still keeping with Callum here, but TY's the man who's closing down the gap behind. TY, here he is. So, yep, TY in the Dale Coyne Racing Honda. Teammates with Will, who's at the back of the pack. He's closing up on Gummy Bears. Gummy Bears made a mistake from second, I think that was from 3rd place, so Gummy Bear makes a mistake there, so we'll get a replay on what happened to Gummy Bear there. What happened to Gummy Bear on lap 2, so into this corner we go. Then we hit the curb on the inside, but that's alright. Then we get the power on the curb on the outside, and we spin off track. Then we look on the roof cam, he's waiting for people to go past, safely rejoins to the inside, but loses a lot of places. As we come back from that then, Gummy Bear makes a mistake and goes back down to 6th place. Just shows you how it could all change. A little mistake as Stevie then closes up again on Bidzster, so Stevie obviously likes that last sector of the track. Really closes up on Bidzster. And down to the next corner then, through the left right section, which reminds you of Silverstone. Very iconic bit of circuit. And then out, up the hill, up the little gradient here. Not very many opportunities to pass on this circuit, unfortunately. Obviously, there's more opportunities to pass in the last half of the circuit, but the first half is more or less a follow you section. But here's Keith. He's got Blaney closing down on him, and he's obviously got Gummy Bear in front of him now after that spin. Doing well to try and maintain the gaps. Blaney a bit more pace in this race compared to the last one, which is good. Into the hairpin and out of it. I think Keith went a bit wide there, but still he's all good so far. There's Neil Farmack then trying to keep with Callum still, but Callum's still keeping him at bay by about a second. So pit stop window is now open because you can't pit on the first 2 or the last 2 laps. So between 3 and 19 you can pit. So we'll have to see what strategies people go for. Remember, it doesn't actually alter the red band on the tyre, unfortunately, with the graphics at the minute. So we'll have to keep an eye on the old-fashioned way to see if people have changed. The only car it'll change is Bidzster's, because he's the one who's the replay it is. So Bidzster there going through, 2 seconds ahead of Stevie now. So Bidzster putting the hammer down a bit, pulling out the gap on Stevie in 2nd place. Callum still in 3rd with Neil and TY trying to stay with him. So Neil's 1.3 back. Then we've got Neil there, and TY's only 1 second off of 1.2 seconds off of Neil there. You can see him lurching in the background. There he is, just coming into shot. So TY closing up on these boys. Gummy Bear will be kicking himself after that mistake earlier as well. TY's off. First corner. The car must have over-rotated or something, but TY goes off at the hairpin. So we'll get a quick replay on what happened there. TY, so watch the car right in the centre of the picture. Hits the brakes and then the car just spins on the brakes. Very strange indeed, but looks like they just lost it on the actual on the brakes on the way into the corner. So very strange one there from TY. So as we come back from that, then TY gets going, but back in 8th place. Just shows you one mistake, you go from 5th down to 8th. So close racing. Keith then makes up a position into 6th, Blakey 7th, TY now in 8th, but he's going to make his way back through the field again. So a little over-rotation there for TY, but didn't do bad not to spin it the whole way around. Callum then, with the camera just has to stare at some grass. There we go. There's Callum in 3rd place. He's got a bit of clear air now in front of him, and also a bit of clear air behind. Neil 1.3 seconds behind. And Gummy Bear obviously released back into 5th place after TY's mistake. Then we've got Blakeney there trying to catch up to Keith. Only 5/10 in it, so let's have a look at this. Then Keith in the yellow car, Blakeney in the red car. So Blakeney closing up on Keith ever so slightly, and TY will probably be on the back of these boys in a few laps as we go into the complex section. Again, very narrow, not many places to overtake on this circuit. It's a nice circuit to drive, but it's not the best circuit to race on, because you can't really get you don't really get many close battles on this track, unless you're in a GT car as a result. But Blakeney then runs a bit wide, and Keith just opens up that gap a little bit more. But Blakeney just running that car too wide, and so does Keith there. Keith does the same thing. Blakeney's within striking distance now into the last corner. Keith has to defend. Blakeney gives him a little helping hand. A bit more of a helping hand as well. And then we get onto the straight. TY will be loving this. Get together and then I can pass you both, as Keith keeps defending on the inside just to make sure Blakeney's not going to go for any lunges. Into the corner. Keith runs in a bit deep. He's going to be a bit slower down the hill now. Blakeney will close up. TY's right on the back of these boys as well. One mistake and he'll have them both. Into the left right section then. Oh, we go. Oh, TY almost had another moment there, I think, as we look back at TY. Oh, let's look at Blakeney's car, because we might be able to see both in the shot at the same time. There we go. Oh, Blakeney runs a bit wide there, so it looks like people starting to struggle for grip here with these alternate tyres, with the softer compound tyre. And then we have to swap to the primary tyre. We have to swap to the tyre with more with last longer. As we go into the hairpin, TY almost has to stop on the apex because Blakeney were a bit late at turning in there. There's Will closed up in 9th place as well, so good to see that the pack's not too strung out, which is good. Meanwhile, back at the front, we've got Bidzster still in the lead by 2.2 seconds from Stevie in 2nd place. There he is in the Chevrolet. 2nd place for Stevie. He's teammates with Gummy Bear in the Team Penske Chevrolet team. So, and then Bidzster and Callum obviously the 1st and 3rd in the AJ4 Enterprises Honda. So, but we've got to get to Stevie. He's keeping with Bidzster here. He's keeping with the pace, so he's not doing too bad. There's Callum in 3rd. He's got Neil 2.2 seconds behind him. We've got let's have a look back at the battle back here. So we've got Keith, Blakeney, TY and Will. But Keith pulling out a bit of a gap now on Blakeney. So Blakeney obviously a couple of little mistakes here and there. There he is, as Keith goes a bit wide out the first corner. And remember, these guys have 10 push-to-pass boosts, which are 20 horsepower battery boost that you can use 10 times during the race that lasts for about a good 30 seconds or so. As down the bottom of the hill, Gummy Bear looks like he's been off again. So Gummy Bear looks like he made a little mistake there, and while he was trying to catch up to Neil, because he were about 6 seconds behind Neil, but now he's only about 9 seconds behind. So a little over rotation there for Gummy Bear probably, but he's okay. He's still going. He's always running a bit wide there though, so I think he's lost his rhythm for definite. Down the hill then. Keith with Blakeney right behind him now. Keith's going to have to think about defence here, and he is. He's going to the inside of the corner a bit earlier. That could make him run wide, and it does. He gets on the power though. Blakeney has a bit of a wheel spin out the corner because you saw the car move to the left. A little bit of wheel spin out the corner. Can't quite capitalise, but he might be on the push to pass now, and I think he is. He's on the push to pass. Trying to get close behind him, but he can't quite get close enough to do the move yet. Keith keeps defending to the inside ever so slightly just to make sure he covers the inside enough. TY closing up behind. And to the complex section then. Got a really awkward left-hander coming up. You've got to brake while turning, get the car turned in. Front right tyres praying for mercy, and then the front left prays for mercy around this next long corner. Especially when you've got following a car in front with the turbulent air, the front left will be cooking. But Blakeney goes wide and wide and wide, and TY follows him. So into the second to last corner then. TY's car has a little bit of lag there, but all's well. As you go into the last corner, Blakeney still in ahead of TY. The gap's keeping more or less the same there. We'll just stick with this battle for now because TY's closing up to the back of Blakeney here. Well, is he on the push to pass? Is he going to go for the move on the inside? No. Blakeney goes in a little bit earlier to cover, but then he's going to subsequently run wide out the corner. TY will get a good run down here towards the left right section. But again, not close enough to sort of make any impact, so just got to make sure he keeps the pressure on, try and rely on a mistake. In the background, Will closing up as well. TY still behind Blakeney, still can't find a way through here. Brilliant battles this as we look at Keith's car in the yellow car at the head of this pack. A little bit of wheel spin hit from him there out the corner, and Will is right on the back of these boys now. So Will, TY's teammate, the two Dale Coyne Racing teammates at the back of the pack, but they are closing up on the cars in front. So Will coming up to try and help his teammate here as we've got Neil and Callum very close together then. Neil is ahead of Callum. Neil's ahead of Callum, so they're having a nice little battle here. Neil's on the inside, Callum gives him space. Neil up the inside of Callum, and Callum's going to try and keep around the outside of him and get on the power, and Neil bogs down at the corner, couldn't find the traction or the gear, and Callum gets third place back. But we'll just get a quick replay on how the positions swapped in the first place. Here's a replay what happens to Callum then. So into here, he just loses the back end of the car, hits the curb, back end of the car gets lost, and then he goes back, that's nice to rejoin. Here comes Neil, thinking here we go, right, let's get him. And then the battle resumes from here, but let's have a look and stick with it for now. So Neil's right behind Callum now. And then we go up the hill, Callum runs a bit wide again, and then Neil gets a good run down here. Very good run in fact. And he's going to have a little go into the hairpin. Into the hairpin we go. Callum defends the inside, Neil looks to the outside, he'll try and go for the cutback on the way into the corner. And then get a good run out, and they both get a parallel run out, and that's how the battle started. So as we come back from that then, Callum takes back third place from Neil and is in third place again, and Keith has got a right line of cars behind him here. Keith, Blakeney, TY, Will. Blakeney runs wide there, but so does TY and Will. So it looks like everyone's struggling for grip round that corner there as we go into the second to last corner. Will runs very wide here now. What will the strategies be with the tyres? Will people try and keep going as long as they can because they've got experience on that second tyre from the first race? Depends how they all felt on it, but they've got until the end of lap 19 to pit, so still a while to go. But this is the sort of time of the race where people will start thinking about pit stops in between maybe like lap 8 and lap 12, because that's sort of roughly halfway distances. We've got TY off in the background. He's over-rotated again at the first corner, and Will, his teammate, goes through. So TY back down to last place, and he hands it over to his teammate to have a stab at Blakeney and Keith then, as Will goes Will not using the track there very well, as he's going very wide there. Where is he going? He's trying to go down the national track now. So he's taking a lot more speed than he should do. He needs to slow down into these corners a bit more, because if he does that again, he'll probably get a penalty for it. So, and remember guys, I can hand out penalties as well. The steward can, the race steward can hand out the penalties as well as the game if he feels that it's necessary to, as Keith and Blakeney go alongside each other. Blakeney gets good traction out the corner and he's ahead of Keith. So Keith moves back down to 7th place, but he's going to try and go up the inside of Blakeney again into the next corner, or at least put pressure on. But Blakeney doesn't fall to the pressure, and almost close to contact there, but Blakeney Blakeney gets 6th place and keeps it. So 7th for Keith then. Will in 8th place, trying to catch up to these boys, hopefully by not cutting many more corners, but I think that was more mistake than on purpose. As Stevie then has gone into the pits. So Stevie is into the pits. I thought I saw the gap growing. So Stevie's into the pits then for his change of tyre. Now, I know it's not altered the sidewall of his tyre, but he has changed tyres, I can tell you that. So Stevie comes out of the pits. He's going to come out somewhere. Well, Gummy Bear's in the pits as well. Blakeney's in. So a lot of people deciding to pit here. So let's have a run through. Bidzster's gone round. Callum's gone round. Neil's gone round. Stevie's just coming out of the pits now, and it crosses the white line there. Got to be careful of doing that, otherwise you get an extra penalty. So as he goes out the corner then, Stevie down the hill. Will in 5th place, and Gummy Bear in 6th. He's in the pits. Blake's coming out of the pits as well. Keith's in as well, and TY, so they're all in the pits at the same time. So Gummy Bear comes out of the pits then. Blakeney's coming down the pit lane, so's TY and Keith, so but I think it's going to be Blakeney who exits first. Yeah, Blakeney exits first. TY's going to be next, and then it's going to be Keith. There's TY, and then Keith got out last. So Keith, I don't know what he's done to have a longer pit stop, but he's gone right back down the order there. So Keith has unless he made a mistake on the way into the pits, so we'll get a quick replay on that. Here's what happened to Keith on the way into the pits then. So into the pits we go, and he runs wide, and there hits the wall on the inside of the pit lane, and then has to sort of slow down. TY has to slow down to avoid him as well, and that's how Keith went back down the order. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Bidzster is into the pits. He's had enough of those tyres, as fast as he can into the pits, and then stops on the line, and then in his pit box is more or less the first one here. So into the pits he goes, up on the jacks, tyres being changed. Callum then will he follow his teammate into the pits, or will he go round? He's going to follow his teammate in. Callum's into the pits very fast as well. Both been practicing the pit stop entries probably. So Bidzster's out as Callum's in. So the two AJ Foyt Enterprises cars decide to pit at the same time. Neil Farmack's in as well, so a lot of people pitting at once. Stevie's coming around the last few corners then. Neil there he is. Into the pits now. Bidzster's coming down the pit exit. There's Stevie. Bidzster comes out the pits, and he's got a bit of a gap on Stevie now. So it was about a 2-second gap. It's now a 5-second gap on Stevie. As Stevie comes into the first corner, so 4.8 to 5.2 second gap on second place then. So Bidzster pulls out the gap. Callum comes out the pits then. We just trying to get a bit of temperature in those tyres. There's Neil. Will's into the pits as well. So here comes Gummy Bear at the last corner. But I think Callum's going out the pits. Yeah, Callum's out. Neil's out as well. Keeps within the white line. Good job. Here comes Gummy Bear. So resumes in 5th place. So everyone's now pitted, which is good. So Blakeney goes through ahead of Will. So there's Will, there's TY. Now where will he come out in respective to his teammate? There's Will still coming down the pit lane. Pit exit there. TY's going to go through. What about Keith? There's Will. Let's have a look at his car. TY goes through. And Keith goes behind. So Keith stays in 9th place. So everyone's done their pit stop then within a couple of laps. And everyone is on the primary tyre. And that's what this is what it should look like on Bidzster's car there. So you've got no red ring around the tyre. That's what it should look like. But unfortunately, the graphics, as you can see on Stevie's car, have not actually changed to the primary tyre. So, which is a bit, quite annoying. But hopefully, I am trusting everyone to keep within the regulations and keep to the primary tyre. But obviously, in the actual race, we can tell that we've swapped to the tyre. But obviously, in the replay, that we can't. So. Stevie then goes round in 2nd place, 5 seconds behind Bidzster. Callum in 3rd then after the pit stops, 20 seconds behind the leader in 3rd place. Then we've got Neil Farmack, another 6 seconds behind Callum in 4th. Gummy Bear trying to catch him up in 5th. There he is around here somewhere. There he is in the yellow car, lap 10 out of 21, so just under half distance. Decided to pit because the primary tyres do last longer. They are a harder compounder tyre, so the tyre wear will not be as bad. As Blakeney then goes through. Bit more spread out now because Blakeney's got a bit of 6-second gap over TY then, so Blakeney's done well with the pit stops there, really well. Makes you wonder whether his pit stop was actually legit, but they all get checked afterwards, so don't worry, all the pit stops do get checked. As TY goes through in 7th. There he is in 7th place. He's so a bit more of a spread out gap now. The closest battle on track is between Will and Keith for 8th place. So 8th and 9th, which are the last 2 positions on track. And Will getting on with it out the corner there. Probably using a little bit of push to pass to get a bit more of a gap. And then into the first corner we go. Up the hill into the first corner. A little bit wide there, but again gets away with it. Stevie's now 8 seconds behind Bidzster. So Bidzster loving these primary tyres. Putting in some good laps here. Let's go on board with the leader to see how he's doing. So into the corner then. Out of it on the power. Around this long right-hander. Let's get rid of that so we can see what the actual car's doing. Into the... Oh, slide for Bidzster. Bidzster slides the car. Oh, what a recovery though. But talk about Jim Carner. He can block your heart out. But Bidzster with a massive slide there. That's not going to help the gap. Stevie's 3 seconds behind now. So Bidzster then with a bit of a slide there, but ends up saving it. So there's Neil Farmack. He's doing well. He's in 4th place. He's got a 3-second gap to go behind him, but 8 seconds to Callum in front of him. So really struggling with the pace in this one on these new tyres. Just got to get used to him as he goes into the same corner that Bidzster went sideways on, but that shows you how to do it. But yeah, Bidzster's tyres will be shaped like a 50p piece now, so they'll be a bit raggedy, but a few laps and they'll calm down, especially with the temperatures of the tyre, because that's one problem that we all had in these races, was the tyre temperature, because the Firestone IndyCar tyres do tend to overheat quite quickly. So it is about managing the tyres with the heat as well as the wear. So, but the primary tyre not susceptible to the heat as much as the alternate tyre. The alternate tyre was the one that was causing people a lot of problems. But the primary tyre is a good tyre. Harder compound, you can get just as good. You can get some good pace out the car. Maybe about half second slower than the alternate tyre at its peak, but still an overall good tyre to race on. And I do have to admit, Firestone do a lot better job than Pirelli do in the Formula 1. So, as the racing's a lot closer in IndyCar than it is in Formula 1. As we look at Neil Farmack going down the straight, then let's have a look at everyone else. We've got Blakeney in 6th place. He's only 3.8 seconds behind Gummy Bear, so he's still keeping the gap more or less the same, and he's trying to do what he can. Keith's gone way back behind Will. He's 9 seconds back now, so Keith really not getting on with these primary tyres. Not enjoying them at all. As we go down to the hairpin then, Keith into the hairpin, yeah, just running wide. Can't seem to get his apexes. He's just struggling with the handling of the car. just because of the handling change from the other tyres. Probably takes him a couple of laps to get used to it, but just not driving the way that it wants him to at the minute. So, but hopefully in a few races he'll be able to get used to it. So next week at Long Beach should be some good races as well. So Long Beach, a long race on the, well, it's been a long time running race on the IndyCar calendar. And that should be some good racing next week as well. As we look at Callum then, he's only, Neil's only 2.5 seconds behind Callum now, so Callum's made a mistake. He's gone from 19 seconds behind the leader to 24, so Callum's made a mistake somewhere. Neil can sniff an opportunity for a podium here, so Callum's going to have his wits about him, so no more mistakes for Callum, otherwise he's going to go right into the clutches of Neil Farmack. Here he goes up the AJ Foyt Enterprises car, number 41. Down the hill, teammate Bidzster in the lead of the race by 4.4 seconds, so pulling out the gap ahead again on Stevie. Hopefully not made any more mistakes this time as we go through into the complex section. So let's see if Bidzster can change his driving style this time to compensate for that corner where he spun. So let's have a look this time. Let's have a look. Round the corner we go. Nice line round there, and then back to the inside. Not going too far near the curb this time. Perfect line there from Bidzster this time. Then into the last corner we go. Into the last corner. Nicely around there. Gets the power on out the corner and safely through. Here's Stevie. A little bit wide into the apex of the corner, but again gets away well with it. Here's Callum. Let's have a look at Callum into this next section then. So into the corner then. On the power, full throttle for Callum around here, as everyone else will be as well. And then brings the car back in. Up to the curb on the left, so good lines there from all. Here comes Neil Farmack into the same corner as well. You can see the gap visually there to Callum, you can see him. 2.6 seconds is the gap, and that's what it looks like. You can see the car in front chasing him down. Here's Gummy Bear into the last corner. Nicely round for him as well. Blakeney as well will be very deep in there for Blakeney, so not good from him. Here's TY into the understeer into that corner, and then into the last corner we go. Again, lots of understeer in that car for TY, not turning, and will talk about understeer. Wow, that's way off the track, but we'll have to watch out for the track limits there. Might be getting a few track limit calls with that. There's Keith then coming around the same section. Now you'll see here Keith's struggling a lot with understeer on his car. When I said that, he's turning in quite well there, so it might be just the oversteer that's actually kicking him in. But let's have a look into the second to last corner. Now the car is turning in quite well. I just think that probably these tyres aren't suiting Keith's driving style as much as the first set of tyres were. But yeah, a bit of understeer there, but nothing to worry about too much as we go back with the leader then. 4 seconds in the lead is Bidzster. Round that corner there. Down a gear halfway through there, so must have felt like you're running wide there. Into the next corner we go. Second to last corner up over the curve. And here's Gummy Bear. He's only got 2 seconds to Blakeney behind him, so Blakeney's on a charge here. Blakeney's on a charge, and Neil Farmack. He's on a charge as well, so Neil Farmack then. Has Neil made a mistake? Because he's back down in 6th place, or is that me imagining things? Well, we'll see at the end of the race. But Gummy Bear is in 4th, Blakeney in 5th. Yes, Neil must have made a mistake because Blakeney's in 5th place now. So, yeah, it must have been a mistake. So we'll just get a replay to reconfirm that. Okay, here's a replay of what happened to Neil Farmack then. So he's coming through the complex section. Then watch him up here, goes into this next corner. And then he hits the curb, spins the back end of the car round, and round he goes, just hits the wall. And then tries to find the gear, reverses and just stops as Gummy Bear comes through, and then manages to get the car turned around and rejoins behind Blakeney. So as we come back from that then, Neil Farmack back down to 6th place. Now the leader only 3.6 seconds ahead of Stevie now, so Stevie piling on the pressure, trying to get to Bidzster here, keeping him honest. Up the hill. On the power, up over the rise. 3.2 seconds to Bidzster now, so Stevie is on a charge here. He's actually going faster than Bidzster is here. Trying to catch up. Into the hairpin. Nicely round there, gets the power on. Beautiful lines there from Stevie. Doing very well here. Meanwhile, Gummy Bear's only 2 seconds ahead of Blakeney in 4th place. Still back there. Neil Farmack's gone a bit further back from Blakeney now, so just a couple of mistakes, or either that or Blakeney's on the move here. But I think it's more the chance that Blakeney's on the move, because I think he's liking these primary tyres, because Gummy Bear is now only 1.5 seconds in front of him. So Blakeney then putting on the pressure here to try and catch Gummy Bear. Into the hairpin we go. Let's check the line through here, see how good he is. He's good on the brakes, into the corner, takes a very good line, gets the power out. Yeah, he's definitely going to be catching Gummy Bear in the next couple of laps, unless Gummy Bear can respond to the pace. As TY then in 7th place, he's got his teammate Will M79 2.9 to 3 seconds behind him. As Will made a mistake, because that gap looks like it's increasing, but no, it must have been how the track was. So Will M79, just a reminder for you, he was Rural 848 team. He's just changed his name on PSN because he wasn't a fan of the name anymore, so just thought he'd change it. And yep, so he's now known as Will M79, or Will for the commentaries. So that's good for him. So Callum is he's on his own in 3rd place. Stevie's now 2.6 seconds behind Bidzster, catching him with every single lap. So the gap gets closer. It was roughly about 3.3 last time round we saw it. Now it's 2.6, 2.5-ish. So Stevie closes up to Bidzster then. Let's go on board with him, see if we can see Bidzster. So there's Bidzster going into the hairpin. There he's going out of it, and here we are going into the hairpin. So Stevie then catching up to him, using the revs as high as he can, probably on a little push to pass as well to help. Every little helps here as Blakeney then, he's catching up to Gummy Bear as into the left right. Blakeney goes a bit wide into that bit there and loses a bit of time, but again, just trying to push hard, trying to explore the limits of the track. As Blakeney's gone round! Blakeney's gone round, spun right on the racing line. Just as I was being supportive, he goes round and unfortunately goes back by 5 seconds behind Gummy Bear. And Neil must have made a mistake as well, because he's gone back to a bit further behind Blakeney as well. So Blakeney just gets on the curb there, the car just goes sideways, and how he managed to stop that car. But yeah, Blakeney still resumes in 5th place, but obviously with a very, very triangle-shaped rubber now. Chris then on lap 16 across the line then. Start lap 17 of this race, lap 17 of 21, 2 laps left of the pit window, but they've all pitted, I think, so that's not really too much to worry about. As Stevie then into the pit, into the first corner, should I say? It's because I was on about pit stops, that's why. But Stevie then into the first corner, down the hill, 3.3 seconds behind Bidzster now, so Bidzster trying to pull out more of a gap. Callum still in a solid 3rd place, doing well here. Gummy Bear in 4th. So Gummy Bear back up to 4th place. Blakeney then 5th. After that little mistake, 5 seconds in both directions to both his positions. Neil Farmack 5 seconds behind Blakeney, and 10 seconds behind him is TY, with Will only 1.9 seconds to 2 seconds behind him. So the two teammates close together, and Keith still struggling at the back of the pack in 9th position. He's been lapped now by Bidzster. So Keith has been lapped now by Bidzster. I just thought I'd double check that. Where's Stevie's ahead of him as well. Callum will be the next one to lap him, but I don't think there'll be too many laps left to do it. So Keith unfortunately has been lapped in this race. Now Will's across the start-finish line there, so he's got a bit of a gap from him to Keith. So not too much to worry about there with the lapping cars. Just one car for him to lap this time, I think. So Bidzster then. The orange and black car. What a surprise, it's orange and black because it's Bidzster. As we go into the second to last corner, up over the curb. Still pushing hard, still doing very well in this race. Controlling the race from lights to flag so far. So Bidzster proving he's the man to beat in the open wheel cars. So Bidzster goes through up to the hairpin. The first corner hairpin. Obviously Bidzster last season's champion in an open wheel car as well, in the historic open wheel championship. Now it's the IndyCar championship, and he's looking like he's going to stamp his authority on this one as well, with maybe with one win for definite and maybe a second one. But you never know, if a mistake's made, Stevie will be there to pick up the spoils. So it's not over until the checkered flag flies, as Gummy Bear then has made a mistake and has got Blakeney right behind him now. So Gummy Bear makes another mistake. And Blakeney closes right up within half a second of him. So there we go, you can see it. To the second to last corner there. And oh, they both make mistakes there. Blakeney a bit worse than Gummy Bear there, but both pushing hard to try and get better results. Blakeney can sniff that 4th place, and he really wants it if he can. But Gummy Bear will do all he can to try and hold on to that position. Into the first corner, Gummy Bear goes through. Blakeney there goes through as well. Let's go on to the onboard camera of Blakeney's car. Into the left, right section. Gummy Bear a bit slower into there than Blakeney was. Blakeney carrying a lot more speed, but again in that last bit he had to lift out of it. Into this section here, get yourself to the left hand side. Oh, Blakeney goes for a tighter line into the corner. That's going to lose some speed out the corner. Which he does. You can see Gummy Bear's gap going up a little bit there. And then into the hairpin. Into the hairpin we go. There goes Gummy Bear, and there's our apex there. Oh, a bit of a corner cut there for Blake, but again gets away with it, I think. So he'll get told if he has to lift off by the game. If the game feels like he gained an advantage, but looks like he lost a bit of time there over that little curb. So all good so far. Into the straight, touching 170 miles an hour in these cars as Gummy Bear goes very, very wide there off the track and loses all that time again, so he's lost 7/10 of a second there, and Blakeney closes right up to him. Let's go back to trackside then. Into the left-hander, we have to brake and turn, and Blakeney still in 5th place. Gummy Bear ahead in 4th, there he is. So Gummy Bear in the Team Penske Chevrolet, Stevie's teammate, looking for a 2 and a 4 for this race, but Blakeney wanting more points for Andretti Autosport. Honda, his teammate Keith at the back of the pack, so Blakeney bringing in the points for this team so far, but Blakeney goes back a bit, must have made a mistake there in the background, and goes another second behind Gummy Bear. They're on lap 19 now. Stevie's made a mistake somewhere. He's gone from 5 seconds to 15 seconds behind Bidzster now. Stevie makes a mistake and loses that chance to sort of inherit a win if Bidzster made a mistake. So Bidzster then with a 14-second lead over Stevie now. So Stevie will be kicking himself with that, but Bidzster then will quite happily manage that 13-second gap. He's got plenty of time to the car behind to bring it home for the 2nd win in a row. Again, it's not over until the checkered flag flies, so you never know what might happen in this race. So it is motorsport, anything can happen as Neil Farmack goes through in 6th place. Bit of a miserable race for Neil, and just as I say that, commentator's curse, the miserable race gets worse because he lights up his rear tyres trying to spin the car around. TY goes through, there goes TY, and Neil will rejoin here somewhere. There he is in 7th place, so Neil back down to 7th place then, so not having a good race here, Neil, and his back tyres will be very warm now after trying to spin himself back round. So into the hairpin and out of the hairpin, Neil goes down to 7th place. So unlucky for him as we go back to the Gummy Bear and Blake battle. 2.6 seconds, sorry, 2.2 seconds in it. But again, in Gummy Bear's favour. So one mistake from Gummy. Remember, Gummy Bear has been susceptible to his own mistakes in this race. So you never know. And speaking of mistakes, goes very wide there off the track. I've got to stop cursing people. But Gummy Bear makes a little mistake there as well and goes through the 2nd to last corner. Bit of a twitch on there as well. Into the last corner to start lap 20. Keith's there, just getting out of the way in 9th place. So good on Keith. He's struggling in this race. So Keith just getting out of the way of the traffic, just helping people get through, because he's not really going to gain any places out of this anyway. So Keith, very sportsmanlike there, and it's nice to have him back in this championship as well, should I say as well, because it's nice to have Keith back. As Bidzster then powers his way through, 19 seconds ahead of Stevie then, so Stevie must have made another mistake as well. So again, Stevie's got 18 seconds in front and to Bidzster and 22 seconds behind to Callum, so he's quite safe with that 2nd place for now. As we look back to the Blakeney Gummy Bear battle, so there's Blakeney 1.7 behind Gummy Bear still, so still more or less the same kind of gap, but Blakeney's still pressuring Gummy Bear, and Gummy Bear can't afford to let up or make a mistake because he'll then have Blakeney all over his gearbox. So just about trumping each other's speed and just trying to put the pressure on. Even though you're from a distance, you can still put the pressure on by maintaining the gap, because it makes the other person think, well, why aren't I pulling away from that other person? Then while they're busy thinking about that, then they get past. So TY and Neil look like they're going to have a nice little battle for these last few laps. TY struggling with pace. Neil finally got his act together, I think, and a bit of wheel spin out the corner there, and then trying to catch up. Everyone will be using the remainder of their push to passes that they've not used this race as well in these last couple of laps, probably. As Bidzster comes up the hill. Nicely up the hill there for Bidzster. Still pushing hard, even though he's ahead of the pack on his last lap of the race. Last lap of the race for Bidzster, so last half of the lap now for him. Into the hairpin before the straight for the last time. Get on the power. Use up the blast of the push to passes if you've not used them already. So Stevie's been off again. Stevie's been off again. So Stevie obviously really annoyed about making that first mistake, and subsequently has made about 2 or 3 others. So Stevie should come home for second place, but at the rate he's spinning he might not. We'll have to see, because Callum will be trying to keep consistent pace just in case Stevie does throw it away. But looks more or less set in stone. The positions now as what Gummy Bear in 4th, Blakeney still in 5th, so that's a good battle to watch out for on the last lap. TY and Neil 1.7 seconds over the line as well. Close for them. But Bidzster, the man of the weekend so far. Pole position in both races. Fastest lap in the first race. We don't know about fastest lap in this race yet until the results come in. But looks like it's going to be a perfect weekend as Keith lets him go there again to lap him, as Bidzster takes the win here at round 1, Circuit of the Americas, race 2. Well done to Bidzster, he takes the victory. So well done to Bidzster, clean sweep this weekend, and the fastest lap to boot as well. Stevie is going to come through in second place, as long as he doesn't throw it away on these last couple of corners. Second to last corner for Stevie. Into the last corner we go. Don't start doing donuts now. And on the power, Stevie will come across the line then for a good second place. A good start to the championship for Stevie as well. Looks like Bidzster's got a new rival and he's called Stevie. So Stevie in second place. Callum is going to be 3rd, so a good job for Callum here. He's struggled in previous Project Cars 2 championships, so he's been paired with Bidzster for this season, because you have a slower driver and a faster driver in the team. And Callum's a slower driver for this one, but Callum, he'll be very happy with that 3rd place. A good consistent drive, finally got that wheel working how he wants it to, and it's a good 3rd place for him. Gummy Bear is going to be 4th, he's held off Blakeney for the last half of the race, so good job by Gummy Bear. 4th place for him, he'll be happy with that, the American, in his home series. And then Blakeney in 5th place and decides to hit the wall across the line. TY is going to come through in 6th place. Yeah, TY for the Dale Coyne Racing Honda team in 6th place for him. Well done to him. And his teammate Will come across the line in 7th. So 7th for Will, and Neil drops all the way down to 8th place on the last lap of the race. So not good for Neil, but he's going to cross the line nevertheless in a solid 8th position, and Keith will round off the 9. So we'll just get those results confirmed for you now, guys. Okay guys, here's the results from that end. So Bidzster wins that race, so it's 2 in a row for Bidzster. Stevie in 2nd place, then it is 3rd for Callum, Gummy Bear in 4th, 5th for Blakeney, 6th is TY, Will is in 7th, Neil falls all the way back down to 8th place, so unlucky for him after a promising race, and then 9th for Keith. And as we go over to the actual standings, it is Bidzster in the lead on 44 points, and it's Stevie in 2nd on 34, Callum on 30, Gummy Bear on 26, and Will on 20. Then if you look there, we've got Neil, Blake and TY all on 18 points, and then it's Keith on 16, the rest yet to score. And then in the teams, it is the AJ Foyt Honda team on 74 points, 60 points for the Team Penske cars, and then 38 and 34 respectively for the Dale Coyne and Andretti Motorsport. So there's your winner, Bidzster, in that orange and black car there. Well done to Bidzster. Oh, we'll just get a good little shot of him there. We'll just go back off the camera and get a nice little shot of our race winner. There he is in the orange and black car. I can't really, there we are, I can see him now. So we'll see you guys next time for round 2 at Long Beach, which should be a good race. So see you then guys, take care.